and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of long-time friends and nerdy-ass internet users transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons, and critically fumble a lot. Oh god, you're wearing the t-shirt you wore when we met.
Yeah.
You see, that was why I talked to her, actually. Because I was wearing my D&D dice solar system, and I was determined to be nice to as many people as possible, and I saw her t-shirt and I liked her t-shirt, so I told her I liked her
And I was
t-shirt,
sitting on
and
my footwall.
we started talking about the campaign, and that was when I was discussing what was going to happen to Darwin at the hands of Krampus. And yeah,
And I'm wearing the one that makes me think of Ava, so so
we are
I thought you'd appreciate that.
we are a happy family of dorks. It's great. Anyway, previously, group is kind of trying to get itself in some semblance of gear to resurrect the heart of a barony and face what they presume is going to be a green dragon. Probably. Maybe. Something atrocious is going to happen anyway, probably. But before all of that, much nicer things happened in the form of a knock at the door of Fort Cupcake and the appearance of 6 foot plus of beef.
Moo.
And enter Barnabas Stumplefink, late of Ravnica, and kind of wanting to go home. So he's gonna help you guys out in the hopes that the gods will end up owing him a favor and maybe send him home. Because this place is nice and all, but y'all are weird, and okay, Ravnica was weird too, but I'm used to that weird.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Watch it. Some of the kids will wind up painting your hooves red.
Oh god.
Oh no. Please no. Please no.
And so the introductions happened. Lots and lots of kids, all of whom decided that Barnabas needed hugs, all at the same time. It was adorable. It really, really was. With Evan swinging from one of Barnabas's horns, because that's how he do. And discussion with the kinda, sorta, not entirely divine anymore for the moment, goddess of wisdom hiding in the basement, to get some various bits of information about, for instance, how you might go about resurrecting a barony with someone who is attuned to the elements, and for divine touched souls representing various of the elements in their own rights. Which information Furseth got, if in that usual quasi-prophecy, this is kind of vague, but it's better than we had kind of way. And they were heading back to Fort Cupcake to discuss that, because Furseth got that information on his own. While Shanaira distracts the kids with the story of how she was briefly made queen of the mushroom people. Because myconids. And yes, as I recall, somebody had requested blackberry tea, so Alice is just going to head to the kitchen and do that. And just, anyone want anything that isn't blackberry tea?
Nice for me.
I think any more of the coffee and Barnabas is going to explode, and that'll be a little messy. So the tea's fine.
Yeah, because it really is just looks at Barnabas, considers just like, I was gonna offer you some of the coffee, but you probably want to sleep sometime this week.
Yeah,
He's vibrating more than I do.
It's certainly the good stuff, but you have to be sparing with that sort of thing.
Really? Okay.
Well, if you like sleep.
Well, my system's a little Yeah, there's the whole thing where, yeah, I do the bard magic shit now, but my baseline skill is um avoiding, well, okay, not avoiding damage, but not noticing the damage so much, because fuck you, that's why. So most things, cold, spicy, mega coffee doesn't really bug me.
A woman
Well,
of extremes.
everybody's a little bit different that way.
Yeah, pretty much. Something about doesn't take much to turn a calm stream into a raging river. Speaking of, Froseth has the floor and heads into the kitchen to put the kettle on.
Just a heads up, he's having some connection issues and we're currently roboting.
Oh, yeah, and he's
There we go.
frozen. Yeah.
That would be it. Infrastructure.
Given what you do day to day, yeah, I can see you having had to deal with that every single time.
Yeah. Yeah. Remind me to tell you what happened when my normal regular logging in account and my admin account and my authorization information actually on the network over the VPN got out of sync.
Oh no.
I don't think you need to tell us exactly what happened there, because mostly I just see swearing. I see so much swearing.
Yeah, pretty much.
There are benefits to working from home, but that is not one of them.
As well as extremely in fighting the urge to yeet the computer out of a window.
Yeah.
Dude, you don't need to be working to want to yeet your computer out of a window.
Oh, you console sometimes.
Yeah, there's been a few times I was on my laptop trying to do something. $900, $900, $900.
You see that is why I have the Huggy Punch pillow. It is shaped.
I remember that thing.
It is shaped like a one-up mushroom.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
So if I get really frustrated, it gets punched a lot.
Actually, come to think of it.
I have inspired him.
I
Oh,
forgot. It's sitting there.
Fox pillow.
yeah, come on.
Believe it or not, I found this at a Target just out of the blue. It was just there.
Huh.
Sounds like the average thing you find at Target. You're never entirely expecting what you'll see in that liminal space that is a Target.
Yeah. It's a liminal space, much in the same way that Walmart is a liminal space, just with better quality stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, the Target I used to get
Yeah,
most of my
that's-
groceries from.
That's a Huggy pillow, not a Huggy Punch pillow.
Fair.
I gave Smeagol the Huggy Punch pillow when I introduced him to Once Upon a Time. It saw use.
Oh God.
Yeah, the early seasons of that.
Yeah, the early seasons were fine. It just kind of got out of hand.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, hello.
yeah, the early seasons of it also cause extreme ballistic reactions.
Yes, but
Because I'm already known for those. Just setting off the rage buttons all at once is a unique thing for people to witness.
No,
Speaking of huggy things.
yes, not punching that one either.
No. There he is.
Yeah, I saw him logging into.
There we go.
Huzzah! Do you live?
We're not hearing, but we're seeing. You're moving.
Hello.
There you
There
go.
we
There we go!
There we go. I can understand people now.
Yes. Praise the Antheus.
Yes. To very quickly recap, it was offering blackberry tea or anything else if anyone happened to want it, refusing Barnabas any more of the coffee if he wanted to sleep anytime this week, and then presuming that that Froseth is fine with blackberry tea, she stepped into the kitchen to give Froseth the floor.
Oh, right.
Because he just loves hugging the floor, turning expectantly to Frotha.
Look, yeah, from an out of character perspective, if I didn't occasionally have this kind of thing happen, we would never hear him. I wouldn't know if he was online unless he laughed a few times.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So, let's see. I mostly remember what was said last time. I had it written down, and then things got lost.
Well, you can to be fair, you can sum it up with what you do remember, and you've got days on a boat to go into detail. You can just say, I'm pretty sure I know what you guys have to do. It's nothing bad, and we can talk about it on the boat.
Yeah. So, thanks to the help, I've got an idea what we need to do. The only one I'm unsure of is Hazel's part. Now I'm trying to remember.
Something AoE and protective to give you an out of character nudge. Because while it's been 2 weeks for us, it's been like 10 minutes for him. So.
Yeah. So yeah, she everyone will need to be doing something to do with the element they represent. Alice say closest, basically dancing like water. Darvin, singing, playing your instrument, air.
I get to show off. Great! From the kitchen. Light. Fire is light.
Yes, Remy, something needs to light something protective, so probably some sort of light spell on your shield. And Hazel, for Earth, something nurturing. I don't have. If you've got an idea on what that could be, but
Can the healing spell qualify?
Healing or protecting. She got shielding spells up the. But I guess that's on her. If Earth is a home thing, a growth thing, a life thing. Sorry, dear, that's between you and your god.
I'll be asking about that in certain prayers.
Comes out with teacups.
Ah, thank you.
Water takes time to boil, even in our world. Ass.
No, I was saying thank you for bringing the cups out.
I know, but it's your tone suggests it's about time.
I'm sorry.
She's poking you in the brain pan for the funnies.
And I'm playing the straight man. Bad choice of words.
Yeah. I was sort of going, what about either of us is remotely straight?
Nothing and zero.
So, okay, we know what Remy has to. We know what Ree has to do. We know what I have to do. We know what Darwin has to do. We've got some idea of what Hazel has to do. What do you have to do? He didn't ask.
Shit.
I don't see how that was going to help matters.
I mean, if you really want.
I mean, channel the elements. Why not channel what we output?
That's you're probably right, but
It'd be my
it is good to see you laugh sometimes, you know.
Maybe probably best if we get an idea beforehand, but maybe when they do their thing, it'll sort of come naturally.
Or he can ask again.
Well, isn't she either well, she might be done with telling how she became queen of the mushroom people by now, so she might be out stalking the place. She could walk into another one of her snares. That'd get her attention. Gives first of the bump on the shoulder. Sorry, man.
One glorious bouncing dragonborn in a snare.
You know, when somebody apologizes and tones down the joke, you don't just double down.
Yeah, I was sorry about that. Just sort of thinking on it and got a little lost. I don't know why.
That's usually my job.
Have a cookie.
Sorry about that.
Put a cookie in your face, okay?
Yarf!
See, if cookie is in, words
aren't
don't
out.
come out.
Uh-huh.
Usually.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Twilly and Miranda taught her some distinct manners. So
And
anytime stupid is going to come out of your face, put a cookie in.
Brief out of character, he's having the issue again.
Yeah.
We're gonna need more cookies.
She's going to be round at the end of this. Then again, the amount of running around she does, she'll probably burn it all off anyway.
There you go. Well, my other thought was like the sun. I'm sorry, Hazel. I'm sorry.
Just sort of
Couldn't help it.
cogitating.
Yeah, as it looks at Barnabas, get used to it. We are made of doof.
And the almighty power of putting our own feet in our faces.
Excuse me, I have never done that.
Yeah.
Except literally, and I was getting very well paid.
Meanwhile, Darvin's wait a minute. You can get paid for that? Huh. I'm doing it for free.
I take it there has not been improvement. That would be
Nope.
no.
Not looking like it.
Oh dear.
Ava, you're real faint on my end. And I can barely hear you.
Likewise.
Hold on.
I mean, you're clear. Don't get me wrong, but you're just
Yeah.
very, very faint.
It's very quiet. I have your volume up 200%, and it's still kind of on the quiet side.
Is that better?
Fair
Yes.
bit, yes.
Turn the mic up a bit.
Okay.
Thank you much.
Can someone who's not recording tell Antheus that we'll have him go and have a word with Shanaira while he gets his internet sorted out, so he doesn't have to feel like we're waiting on him? Thank you. I'll say, so it gets a bit thoughtful, gets up, walks down the corridor where the bedrooms are. It's like, well, hey! Guess who's got a room?
Oh! Welcome to the family.
I can't say I've ever been adopted this fast before.
Move quick. It was jarring.
Well, actually, I have no idea how long it took for me to get adopted when my parents found me, so I'm still gonna go. It wasn't possibly this quick.
Probably not, actually.
They even have a sign with your name on it on the door, says LSA, wandering back. In my case, they kind of made do with the arrangement I would have liked anyway. So
Well, I'm touched that you welcome me so quickly. I really am.
well, like I say, revouches for you, and you seem cool.
Yeah, and that's what we do. A lot of us have lost family in some form or fashion, so when we find it, we grab onto it with both hands.
When we find it and it's decent, we grab onto it with both hands. When we encounter it again and it's made of asshole, we cut its head off.
That sounds like it's spoken from experience.
Quite as much as we'd like, but we're working on it.
My parents turned out to be worshipping that black shit. They probably started doing that after they chucked me off an airship tower.
There's a lot of logic failures and people worshiping that, and throwing someone like you off of a high place is one of the said logical failures.
Well, all I was doing was stopping them from, like, finishing the job of adventurer group murdering. Anyway, point being, they were assholes. They murdered a bunch of adventurers. I managed to save one. They chucked me off an airship tower. That's how I figured out that I can sometimes have wings. I ran them off, and then I ran away so that I wouldn't get repercussions from this criminal bullshit. Was raised by Northern Warrior types. Worked in a particularly interesting establishment for a while. Met these guys. Died briefly.
I beg your pardon.
Long story. Red Dragon. Soloed.
It's not a very long story.
I was going to say that's not a long story. That's just a short story.
No, that's a short version of a much longer story with a lot more detail to it that I'm not going to go into out of respect for people who went to great lengths to make sure that I was not going to remain punctured through with Dragon Claw. Anyway, went back to the city of my birth, found out that my parents were now apocalypse cultists. I cut my dad's head off, and Froseth cracked my mother's skull when she sent me to some other demi-plane kind of place. I don't even know. That's twice now I've been sent to other places, and I don't like them. 3 times, depending on where the fuck those Archfey sent us.
Oh yeah, with that thing,
With
yeah.
the
Yeah.
The tournament and all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No,
our wood elf friend, Clarity, his patrons,
Right.
they decided we were going to be entertainment as
Oh.
as payment for them finding Lyra and Miranda, who got shipped off to Avernus or something.
Oh, jeez.
So, few of them got wormlings, baby dragons, and 3 of us got young dragon.
Yeah, that was.
You should have seen Hazel though, just standing there, waving huge implement at this thing, screaming, "Get off my continent, you giant flapping handbag!"
Yeah, that was rare form.
Sounds
And-
like something she'd say.
Yeah, and while it was distracted by Hazel, I cut its head off.
Oh,
As one does.
That's a move I like. It's
Or
a move
as you
I
do, rather.
well, it's a move I like with dragons. It's
And
you
Frodo
know,
basically one-shotted the wormlings, didn't he? I think.
He did the thing with the tattoo and
Right.
was in 6 different places at once, hit all of them, and kind of they just immediately stopped moving the minute he impacted them.
yeah. We still have to save for that permanent.
Yes, very much
Yes!
so. First,
That
I've
is
got to
a-
go fast.
That is
to
a
quote Hazel.
heinously powerful spell.
Yeah.
And yes, Froset's got to go fast. After all, I've got Boots got to go fast, but I don't get to go that fast, and that means he has to go that fast.
I don't go as fast, but I go a little more multi-directional. And you, points at Barnabas, apparently go in 2 different places at once.
Sort of. Kinda.
Never
Yes.
let sorta kinda get in the way of a good story.
I'm intrigued.
I'm sure we'll see it in action. It sounds like the kind of thing that you have to. I mean, the last time we saw him do the separating out
Oh,
an
that's right.
echo, but you don't really know until you've seen it in
In
combat.
action. Gotcha. Yeah. I can. Okay.
Kind
You're
of
right.
like you don't really know what my spirit guardians are going to look like until they manifest.
Well,
As a
we
flock of fleas.
do now. Yes.
Yes.
Her spirit guardians are a flock of fairy dragons.
Don't you choose what they look like?
Ha!
Kind of. They're determined more by divine intervention. And I'm going to cast it in the area, setting everyone to not affected by it. So just fairy dragons fill the space.
And yeah, you do get Flitty kind of flying formation with the spectral fairy dragons.
Darwin starts like humming inappropriate,
If you
epic-
start humming right at the out of character, if
I
you
was
start
thinking
humming
out of character,
right
yes. Figured I
You,
wouldn't
these
specify.
two know each other entirely too well.
Exactly.
most of us know each other entirely too well at this point. That's why this group works so well. Anyway, yes, is an Antheus with us?
It seems to be stable now.
Okay. while we have you stable, and as something of a test, let's quickly have you see if you can find a Shinaira. Because
Okay.
it was the best way of leaving you out of the conversation, so
Yeah.
that it wasn't. Anyway, yes. Make me a perception check. I don't know whether I need to retire this die or just only use it when I'm playing Alice.
18.
Natural 20. Yeah, so you're looking around, and I mean there's a lot of shadow from the various merc tents, and clearly there's some carousing going on, and until very, very quietly from behind you, they're very, very loud. She's actually not wearing her hood this time. It's dark enough so that she's not having to completely bundle. It's like I was careful with the snares this time. I set them so that they weren't going to catch you. I had to make sure that they weren't going to catch Barnabas either. He's kind of new, and he wasn't in the exceptions I put into the snares. So I know that you're supposed to hang beef, and I didn't think that would be appropriate, and it would be in fact the entirely opposite of appropriate, which
Yeah,
is progress for me.
we appreciate that.
Um, are you looking for your sister?
Yeah. No. Uh, I came to find you because I forgot to ask something.
Hmm?
With we've got established mostly what we can for what the others need to do. What do I need to do?
Meditate, focus, draw what you feel in toward yourself, and be very strong of will. The energies that you're going to be handling, this is, as far as I know, and again, knowing without knowing how I'm knowing is a little weird, but these are energies of raw creation that you're going to be packing up together, and you probably want to still have a mind that's not twisted in funny shapes when it's over. So focus, calm.
Okay.
Also, you're gonna need a box.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
you know people who used to live there.
Yeah.
They they would probably be the best source of looking for a box.
I will I will run that by them.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So you weren't looking for your sister.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
But I will but now that this is taken care of, I should talk with her.
Well, she's listening in on the quartermaster.
Okay.
Aiko keeps scouting. Vanishes into a
yeah.
shadow.
Okay.
The expression on his face. Yeah, approaching the
Yeah.
quartermaster's tent, you've got
Yeah.
Farida sitting sort of by the tent supports, listening, and sort of glances up at first and was like, I am not used to a bedtime.
No.
I should go back to the room, shouldn't I?
Probably.
Okay, but he's
Need-
talking formulas, and it's really interesting. But I can ask more questions about it later.
Proper routine will do you good.
It's just very, very hard when there's so much interesting happening out here. But okay. Hug. Boom.
Hug. I'll head back to the.
And this one comes back with that sort of head shaking, cute, but what do I do with this? The monastery did not prepare me for this.
No.
You look like a man who got answers and then got more questions. Or at least more confusion.
Kinda. The answers are pertaining to what we were wondering about. Confusion is family things I need to adjust to. Farida snuck out.
Oh no!
I'm sorry. How? It looks at Darvin. I'm sorry. How does this surprise you?
Oh no, that wasn't a
It's a-
surprise. That was oh, of course she did. Oh no, more than anything.
Don't tell me she was listening in on the Mercs, wasn't she?
The quartermaster specifically.
Yeah, that doesn't
Oh my.
Yeah.
Formula.
Not a good idea. From what I've heard of this person.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She's curious though. What are you gonna
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, I'm sure it was educational.
Hopefully in the right way. Like examples of not what to do.
Right, or something like that.
Well, it sounds.
I'm
given
kind of
given
hoping she's smart enough to run it by someone more experienced for context.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Clarity's armor and I'm thinking he must be really good at what he does.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried about some of the vocabulary she was picking up along with the alchemy.
Hmm.
Magical angry math.
Hence my trepidation at calling it educational.
Well, certain definition of education.
I don't know. I mean,
That sounds like something I may or may not have heard back in training at Mount Paylor. There were words said about how much energy I had.
Somehow that does not surprise me.
Honestly, I could still go for a run right now.
Well,
sorry,
before you do-
everybody's looking at you expectantly, Hazel. So, I don't know if that's I don't know if you want to or it's just that you're showing off again.
Little of both.
Go
well,
jogging.
before you-
Okay.
Alright.
And I'm going to stuff another cookie into my face, hop up, run out the door, and just around the building.
Right.
Hazel gonna Hazel.
You know, she'll. You gotta love her, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last time I saw her pick up speed like that, she was running down that one alley way back when.
Yeah.
I don't know. She must have been doing. She must have put on a fair bit of speed when she sort of made that the breastworks, I suppose, during that snowball fight that I kind of crashed.
And we're very glad you did.
Yep.
Death from above.
Yes.
It was amazing.
And you know, frostrake liver. It was a thing. It grins a little at Remy. She was awesome, though.
I'm going to finally finish my run after numing around the building a few times and come back in.
Feeling better?
Yes. I need more tea.
Poor Chef.
Do you though?
This isn't tea leafy kind of tea. This is blackberry leafy kind of tea.
I see.
It's fine.
So yes, she does.
So anyway, now that Hazel's exerted herself a little, there was one thing I wanted to bring up because it's been gnawing at the back of my mind. I mean, maybe call me paranoid, but we know my sister is working with Tiamat somehow.
Well, probably through her father.
Yeah. Do we think she might come with the green. Or be instead of the green.
No, and I will explain why. Half the reason that this is happening is because, from what I've been able to understand from various bits and pieces, I mean, keep in mind, I've lived in Equitas. They're the ones with all the dragon legends. She got Tiamat and Bahamut have always been at odds with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Legends don't talk about why. But our dear friend not in the basement at the moment, but you know what I mean, and the Fate Weaver played a little trick. See, there was another god, and he turned out to be not a very pleasant one. It was mostly set over oppression and that kind of crap, and they didn't really know what to do with him, and they took a catch more flies with honey kind of mentality. So they built him a world, and they had the Fate Weaver turn to him and say, look, you go there, you run this place, it's your place, and a time will come when you have all the oppression and control your heart desires and a hell of a lever on just about everybody else, with the caveat that if you ever use the power you've been handed, it goes away. Not very long after that, Bahamut faced Tiamat in combat. Bahamut slammed Tiamat through a continent so hard that the continent itself shattered, and Tiamat ended up badly wounded in Avernus. So currently, Asmodeus is kind of ruling over her and keeping her there, and it's in his best interest to keep her there. Half the reason she's doing what she's doing is to try to get enough power to get the upper hand and get out. Because once she gets out of Avernus, there's still the Divine Gate to deal with. So a lot of power is required there. So no, odds are pretty good that unless she's found something we know nothing about, we're not going to face an actual god. She might send her little blonde avatar,
which is scary enough.
but I doubt it. Not without something. I mean, that's your predominant combat rule, isn't it? If you have a piece on the board that you don't want to lose, you don't send it into a combat situation unless there's something that can keep that piece from getting trashed. So if the blonde bitch that several of these guys want very much murdered turns up, it's going to be with something hefty.
Yeah, either you don't use it unless there's a way to make certain that it doesn't get trashed, or if it does, the sacrifice is worth it. And given the situation, not just yet. I
She's mad at us, but I don't think she sees us as worth that, as specifically worth
yet.
like fully getting rid of an avatar to get rid of.
Yeah, not yet.
Actually, I'd be worried if we see that avatar.
Because then
it means she's got something better.
Yeah. Yeah. I caught where you were going with that. Yeah. Oof. That's a whoa.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Might she send my sister with green, or instead of?
I don't think she'd do that either.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean,
she still needs Avalain Vanadar.
Yeah, there's still territories to hold on to.
My worry is that the green is so needed in the Elven Wild that they send something we're not prepared for.
I don't want to deal with another construct made out of black junk.
Well, if
No,
I
don't know
recall
if it
from
would
if I recall from Darwin's story, didn't all the black gunk burn off?
It did. It just, who knows what they could send. They could just build another flapping nightmare machine and throw it at us.
And that is the thing. There are only so many things she could send that could reach the Star Coast quickly.
Uh, 2 words. Gate spell.
Yeah, that only so many is not exactly accurate, Remy.
Yeah, when Hazel starts with Ree, Alice just gives her this look like
No, that was my bad out of character. I was reflexively.
that's the thing, I don't care.
You're running with it?
Yes.
Then all the better.
And yeah, when you start with that, the reason you stop is you get Alice giving you this look like, excuse the hell out of me.
Darwin just kind of scoots back in his chair a little.
That's your phrase. Sorry about that.
One day I'm going to give you people language lessons.
Yes, and we will be immensely grateful for them because that will help infinitely.
Darwin's like, I have no idea what that means, but I will never say it ever.
Yeah, okay. Insight check from anyone who's interested in that particular reaction.
Mhm.
A bit. Meeting you here.
This amuses me. This very much amuses me.
Coming.
The new dude, part of us even.
I love this. This is spot on.
It makes sense for clarity because she hasn't known Alice for very long, and Remy is Remy sitting this one out.
Yeah, why not? Sure.
I mean, either way is in character. For
Oh my god! Oh no!
Okay, Barnabas, Froseth, Darvin. It makes sense that Froseth and Darvin got the higher roles in this case because they were there when Alice explained that Rika, the name that she gave to Ava when she needed an alias, basically involved, basically very loosely translated to a clan sister, a sister I chose. More than likely, what it means in a bit more of a specific way is my heart's sister. You two also remember that, and Barnabas would have seen he's seen people raised up in the north of Equitas. A lot of what they speak is with their hands. Every time Alice has called Remy Ree, there's been a very subtle gesture. And if Rika means heart's sister, what do you think Ree means on its own?
Aww.
That's adorable.
And apparently it's a significant enough thing. Because, I mean, Barnabas actually knows that up north, they don't often do that kind of thing. They're... anyone who's played Dragon Age Inquisition, sex is almost like how the Canary handle it. It's, you know, I want to do the sex, and I trust you all with my life, so whatever. And in fact, much like in the desert lands, homosexuality is all but encouraged because you don't really want to raise kids in that waste unless you're really sure you want to do it. So it's nothing as far as they're concerned. The idea of anyone looking at it weird is they would beat you up. But pair bonding of that type is very rare, and when it happens, it is very heavily respected. That's the bit that Barnabas knows. All you guys know is, all you two know, Froseth and Darvin, is that for the longest time now, Alice A has been hiding a very important term of endearment behind what sounds like a logical nickname because she doesn't want to embarrass Remy.
Remy eats a cookie.
Y'all are gonna
So,
kill me.
So Darvin, when the reaction from Alice A hit, he pushed back the seat like, "Oh shit," and was like, "I don't know what that means, but I'm never playing." And then, he was like, he saw a look on Froseth's face, and was like, "Wait a minute." And then that gave him pause, and then then the train of thought, like, "Wait a minute, Ava was Rika, and that meant that." And he just goes, "What? You've seen him do it when he's actually said oh," and he doesn't actually say the oh, but he goes, "Oh."
Yeah, you do have Alice A looking at him like, are words going to come out of your face? She doesn't even have to look at Froseth for that because she trusts in his discretion.
And Remy has no idea that any of this is going on between everyone.
No, Remy is eating a cookie.
Since Ava
Fucking
knows
spectacular.
she wouldn't make the connection, would she know with that role?
No, unfortunately not. It's a bit more. All she knows is that she's been more on the train of thought of her sister, so it's an almost haphazard. Hazel, will you remember what she said about when stupid wants to come out of your mouth, cookie goes in?
Darvin just grabs a cookie and goes,
I'm gonna. Can I insight check to tell if Darvin's registered something? Like basically, has he figured something out?
Is Darvin trying to hide this?
"I've shoved a cookie in my mouth. You're welcome." But I'm saying nothing because I got. Nope.
DM, your discretion.
Yes. Yeah. You want to insight? I mean, it's clear.
Natural fucking 20.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not hiding anything, but I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah. He knows exactly what has happened. He has made all the connections. And
shoved
he's
all
not
shit.
and he's not saying anything because he is as scared of Alice A as he likes her.
I'm going to grab a cookie before he manages to snatch it and just shove it in my own mouth. And
I just look over at Hazel and just go, as in like,
what is Barnabas doing while all of this?
I don't know. Can Minotaurs whistle?
Hmm.
Does he be doing the...
I am going to roll. Now we roll the hand of fate.
Roll for whistle.
Minotaurs make a really weird chuffing sound when they attempt whistling.
Yeah, he just met these people. They're cool. Not getting in the middle of this. Discretion, better part of valor, and all of that.
Yeah, so mostly from him, you're just getting. My parents never managed to teach me to do this.
Mm-hmm. Just slowly back away. Just back away. Be as inconspicuous as a large piece of beef can be.
Which, no.
I freaking love you, dude.
It's like, dude, chill, have a cookie. Sometimes You remember they were saying about feet in mouth? That. It's fine.
Barnabas absolutely has a cookie.
These must be
Okay.
very
Picking
good
him
cookies.
in that
if
regard at this
everybody-
point.
These must be very good cookies if everybody's just cramming them in their mouths. Oh, they are pretty good.
As a saving grace for all y'all, there is a knock at the door. Kind of quiet, kind of low down.
I'm going to walk over to the door, open it, and go, and having finally swallowed a cookie, go, "Hello."
Lyra. I'm given
Hi.
to understand that protections needed being casting.
Yes.
Right, yes.
Barnabas.
I'm going
Barnabas.
to
And
let
in pads. Small, even for a halfling. Red hair. Bandage across eyes. You can see little acid burn scars at the edges of them. But apparently sees well enough, given that tilts head in Barnabas's direction and goes, "Let me guess, if you have to say you're not from around here one more time, you are going to be kind of frustrated."
That's uncanny.
That's Lyra.
Yes.
It's what she does.
One of the many things that I do. Yes, I'm Lyra Sweetwater. It was made apparent to me that someone new was joining this particular group, and that black atrocity, you would require protection from it. And just holds out her hand. Remember, Alice had said the pince-nez?
Oh yes, and he takes it off and hands it to her.
Right. You do have a prayer room in here. I'll borrow that for a moment. It feels you can still see without these.
Yes, it's more for fine reading than anything else.
I'm going to show Lyra the prayer space, and
I have been there before. Hazel, remember Alice's and everyone else's. Well, the more recent of you, anyway. The socks, if I recall. I'd never had to charm socks before.
still proper to do that to this person for the person who taught me everything she knows.
Fair enough. And then turns around and tilts head back in Barnabas's direction. This is going to sound incredibly forward, but once I've done with this, may I pet your nose?
Yes, you may. You're not the first, and you won't be the last.
I'm surprised the little ones hadn't, but they possibly they're being.
They were more interested in. I was basically hugged from all directions and every single inch of me for a moment.
That's the little ones. I will be right back. I'm sorry. I consider the petting payment for having an agent of the Dawnfather drag me out of the shrine at unusual times of the day to charm a very interestingly crafted pair of glasses. Has Oscar seen these?
I think he probably did in the course of the hugging storm.
He probably hasn't had a chance to ask about them. Anyway, I will be right back. I have some praying to do. Excuse me. Pat, 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 clunk.
Very politely shut the door and stay out of the way.
Yeah, Oscar would probably very much like to see those now that I think about it. That's a brilliant idea.
And there will likely be another hugging storm while that happens. Praise the power of Hearth Home and adorable, adorable kids.
Yeah, you may notice that's a thing.
And
He has. He absolutely has.
No, that was Alice 8 in character. Sorry.
Yes, I'd rather have, yes.
Kind of hard to miss, isn't it?
Yeah, even the ones who are kind of awkward and not very knowing what to do with that kind of affection are kind of adorable with it.
Yep.
Looks at Clarity, gives her a little understanding smile.
It's not something I'm used to.
No, but still adorable with it. You'll get there. Look,
At least-
it throws me too sometimes. I'm just louder about it.
At least you know you're loved.
Mhm.
Gives a sort of
Kind of
hair ruffle.
hides behind her notebook a little.
Okay. I think she's had her fill for the moment. But regular doses. We'll get you used to it in small bursts. How's that sound?
All right. It's been a couple months since all of this. More overwhelming than I remember.
I feel you. I really do. Again, I'm just louder about the whole thing.
Hmm.
You know what really helps?
Mm.
When leans to Clarity, what really helps is when some of the more intense about it kind of fear you a little bit.
Oh.
Looks at Darvin.
He's just sitting here with a cookie in his mouth.
I'll keep that under advisement. I've learned a few scary tricks.
I very much like you. I knew I was gonna from the stories, and yeah, we're gonna get along just great. And isn't that gonna throw everybody for a loop? I mean, all that bullshit about and fuck it.
All the angel devil nonsense, and they're all going to stare in confused awe.
Fuck them. Tieflings are awesome.
Tieflings are the best.
Except for that purple one you guys kept telling me about.
Yeah, if we're liable to shove something very uncomfortable, the sun doesn't shine if he ever turns up again.
Yeah, the one. If I recall, my quote was, "He's so full of shit, his horn should have been brown."
You did, out of character. You did say ears, but you're a bard. You're allowed to edit your own stories to make them sound better.
Goodness, yes.
It occurs to me that Heseltine was wrong about both of us, Darwin.
Oh my goodness, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. I adore you. I adore you so much. Oh goodness.
We missed this.
And out comes Lyra. The metal frame on your pince-nez was probably sort of bronzish kind of a situation, just because it tends to be sturdier. Doesn't look like bronze anymore. Still as stable and sturdy as bronze, but looks far more gold.
Well, thank you for your help. I do appreciate it. He puts the pince back on. Does anything feel different, or?
For a moment, it feels a bit warmer, but it's something that you get used to so fast that it's almost not there. At which point she then stands up on table, reaches, pet, pet, pet. She's got good hands, as it happens. So,
Okay.
thank you. Hops down.
You're welcome.
Off the table. And, does anyone else need anything while I'm headed back to the shrine? Yeah. Hang on. Eston's gonna want something. I've left back in the room. I'll say comes back with notebook. Like, he should be warned. My handwriting is shit. I'm sure he will have something to say about it, but given the wealth of information you're providing him, I will remind him that he shouldn't actually care. Thank you. Anyone else? Questions, comments, messages?
I don't know.
All right.
I'm just going to do the polite student thing and escort back out.
Have a good evening, all of you.
You too.
Thank you
Good
again,
night.
Lyra.
You too.
And out she goes. Given wisdom and everything, it's Hazel and Furseth who, when the door shuts and Lyra is heading on her way back out. Wait a minute. Didn't Barnabas want to talk to Jenna about a better hand axe and sword? And if that is the case, maybe we could have sent Lyra, who's going back to town, to the shrine, to give Jenna a heads up to make sure that something was available.
Oh,
I mean, you don't know is the thing. Barnabas doesn't know, but Hazel is shut the door, and on a 5 count, she and Froseth are just, oh.
I'm going to open the door and just head out.
Lyra is heading in the direction of the main road, but here's Hazel and stops. Did you think of something then?
Yeah, it took a bit, but, well, Barnabas has been asking about needing a better axe and a better sword.
I'll speak to Jenna. I think she's already got work in progress or possibly done by now for you. Something about a large chain and a breastplate.
I'll pass that on.
So things should be ready for pickup in the morning.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you again.
And off she goes. All you guys know, apart from Furseth, who knows exactly what she's what she's come up with, is that Hazel just stood at the door for like 5 seconds and opened it and boom. And then came back in about a minute later.
Another dog, or
yes and no. For as an update, the Jenna has the chains more or less sorted, and the breastplate is ready for pickup.
Oh yeah, she said to come. I figured it would be, but
And also Jenna's. We sent along a heads up to Jenna regarding the things you needed, Barnabas.
Oh yeah, the things that the quartermaster said you should probably have steel singer quality.
oh.
You will like Jenna when you
Yeah,
meet
basically,
her.
if you want to tip her, tip light and praise the forge.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Speaking of things we need, since we kind of got off track with me having come back in, for the ritual, I'm going to focus things, and we're going to need a box.
For
What
what?
kind of
Someone
box?
stand on?
No.
At which point, Alice just grabs
No.
a cookie and shoves it in Barnabas's face.
So wait, is this a box to hold what we're creating, or is the box itself going to be what we're creating?
If we need it, we're not creating it. Why would we
box is
need a
skeleton-
box if we were creating a box?
Well, I mean, like the putting.
The energies in the box is what you're saying.
Right. Or is the energy going in the box as in it's making a thing to go in the box, or the energy is just going in to the box itself as in the box?
Does it matter we need a box?
Yeah.
Is there a specific kind of box?
Probably the same kind of box.
Same for what we had with the hearts. We've seen with the hearts.
That's true.
Something
Okay.
So
one associated with the barony proper.
So what? Local source driftwood and bronze with that compass rose thing. That was what you said, wasn't it, Darvin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, we have very loyal barony resident just on the outskirts.
Yep.
She might have
Yeah.
something that either would work or wouldn't take much work to make work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my thought. My thought was, to go to. I mean, we're going to go see Francine anyway.
Actually, there's a thought.
Hmm.
Not to get too far off track of things we need, but this is something that we're going to need before we leave. If we want to ask the Baron to ennoble Francine, and we want to get that heart out of our hands as soon as possible, because we're going to be the target, maybe we should ask rightful King Langerhan first.
Aye.
I would say
Do
maybe
we-
send. Would that be something Alice say you and Ava should go do, or what? Who among us should go do that?
I'm gonna say somebody who knows him, somebody who's met him, somebody polite. Clarity, have you met him?
Mm,
You did.
though I do believe that I might have called him a bastard a few times.
Darvin told me this one. He said what you said was that you used to think that he was a bastard, but you didn't anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And that's
I
probably
wasn't sure if I was forgiven for that, though.
actually, he's a lot more understanding than you think.
Froseth. You saw his face. He entirely understood.
Yeah, he got it. Clarity. You're good.
Oh, all right. Okay. Great.
As an out of character aside, this is a way to make sure you don't have to be there next session. And it was one of a couple of ideas, but this one seemed best. Also, there's a light.
Yeah, it's the sun. I can't control it.
That's fair enough. It's just it's because you're right in the middle of my screen, and it's getting a little blinding.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's something that we can take care of at some point tomorrow. Tomorrow morning one of the first things yes, we like your T-shirt.
I had to stretch.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean we've got a lot. We've got a lot to sort out tomorrow. One of the first things we have to do, probably over breakfast, is because the one thing we don't know as yet is did the Baron go? Did the rightful king go back to the manor? Is he still in the guest house? Is he in some kind of command tent in with the mercs? Where is he?
Yeah. Well, and how does one? Okay, we have some idea of how we're going to create the heart. How do we attach it, or how do we give it to Francine? I mean, I know, yes, she's got to be ennobled first. I get that part, but how do you actually
I think
hand it off?
I think it knows.
It
Okay.
will probably.
I mean, yeah, that would make sense.
whatever it needs to have done will probably in some fashion manifest or be obvious to us when it happens.
It's magic.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's at this point, it's not even just magic. It's magic plus the will of the gods.
That gets very, very direct when it wants to be.
Yeah, you probably know better than I do. You saw bits of that I missed.
Yep.
Okay. I just remembering remembering the vision I myself I had. I was like, yeah, okay, you ain't kidding. Okay, fair enough.
Keep in mind, I know that with a lot of us, it's all pretty prosaic most of the time, but we're in some significant arcane and divine territories here. Sometimes you just gotta have faith.
Mm-hmm. And I never thought I'd say this, but I do.
Yeah, I know, and that's probably why you're coping a little better now than you seem to have been in the early tales.
That's yeah, that's no exaggeration there.
I should sing and dance you the pixie encounter sometime, Barnabas.
Oh God.
Uh-oh. All right. You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. Nothing not embarrassing comes out of dealing with pixies. Nothing.
The tale that she both tells through song and dances is this bunch were heading in the general direction of a temple to Palor, and they, for a variety of reasons that she's not going to cover in that particular situation, came across some pixies, and they were asking for some information, or trying to, from said pixies. Confusion spell got thrown around a lot, which involved Clarity running headlong into the encampment of the remaining cultists. Darvin, this was the first time he was turned into a rabbit.
And thrown into a tree.
And because confusion hit him as well at some point, for he spent a minute actually thinking he was a bunny.
Yep.
Basically, just about everybody was hit with confusion, and part of the reason that he was thrown into a tree was because their paladin at the time, not Remy, is we should take note, but the paladin at the time got hit with confusion, was holding Darvin Bunny, and fling.
And I'm fairly
Pixie,
certain Hazel at
what are
one
you
point
gonna do?
boffed somebody.
Boffed somebody and then ran in the opposite direction to Clarity. She does segue into Clarity's solo adventure, as heard sort of third hand, in that it was, hi, and then tossed a dire wolf out of her bag of tricks.
That bag has been a source of endless amazement, amusement, and badgers.
This explains the badger in her lap, the weasel around her neck, and the giant rat ottoman.
Must not make meme response.
You know me well enough to know you really don't want to do that. Thank you.
Eduardo? No, that was the panther.
Brandon was the direwolf.
Brandon, right? Yes.
Game of Thrones reference. So yes, so she finishes that one off with a bow and a flourish. It probably painted clarity in the best light of any of them.
As this wildflower.
I thankfully was not there for that little thing. I was back at camp.
It was-
You've managed to avoid most of our direct instances of stupid.
yeah, remind me later. I'll tell you about how Hazel tried to turn a ghast into a pancake.
You'll like that one.
Did it work?
No, but it did cover everybody in splat. At which point Darvin threw splat at Hazel, and you know how ghasts smell.
Unfortunately, yes, I do.
2 dead ghasts plus ghast splat plus when Darvin hit Hazel in the face with ghast brain,
Oh,
she threw
Oh.
up. So camp
oh,
was apparently fragrant.
that's putting it lightly. Ugh.
Yeah, prestidigitation can only do so much.
Well, you know, it's trust me, when we're traveling, I took all the stuff that Darvin told me to try to get me up to speed, and I sort of gave the stories a whack here and a whack there, and I put them a bit more together, and they've got some epic. There was the
And then
tentacle-faced thing.
I still don't know why the universe decided it needed to have wings and fly around, as well as everything else it was doing.
Yes, as I recall, the exact words were, "Why does it have to fly to?" And then from Froseth, "What did you think the wings were for?"
It was an appropriate response at the time. I
Swim-
also had no
swimming?
idea what was going on.
Your idea was swimming? I don't know. What uses
Exactly.
wings to swim, Hazel?
I don't know, an underwater bird?
Penguins.
I'm just staring at Clarity. Wait, those exist?
Yeah, those exist. There is very good eating on a penguin.
Huh.
Oh,
Cool.
You just added to the list of things she wants to try.
I'm sure she'll come up north sometime. The best is ptarmigans, though.
Ooh.
They're kind of chicken-sized, but a fattier bird, so a bit more like goose. They have feathers on their feet,
Huh.
Neat. Mhm.
and they are very tasty.
Oh, the joys of travel for food. That's a new goal. Besides more good for home, I also need to learn all food things and also bring that here.
Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time getting ptarmigans here. It's not quite cold enough for ptarmigans even now at the moment.
True, but at the very least, knowing how to appropriately cook them would be a thing to know.
Well, you're gonna come up north sometime. I know you guys are gonna need access to the Silver Vault, and I think we'd probably have a hard time getting clarity out of the Silver Vault from the stories I've heard.
I mean, I came out of the other library.
Eventually.
In how many months?
Yeah.
Just 2.
Just to, I love the way you say that. That's just so you. That is just so eminently you. I adore you.
I just touched on it.
Oh, boy.
Loving books is not a crime.
No, it's
Oh, not at
not.
all.
And, you know, I'm sure Barnabas would be interested in the place just because every bit of information that you could possibly get in this
Mm.
world is there. So if anyone even has any rumors of where your home is,
That's where it'll be.
Yeah, that sounds like a place I would definitely want to go.
we've basically got to check in anyway because while as I understand it, Rizwin is going to be approaching Cragveer from the Baronsveer end. There's
Mhm.
there's an access point up north our end, and given my apocalypse cultist parents and that thing with the red dragon, we probably want to check in on what's going on that end of Cragveer too. But thoughts for later. Right now, we've got our own problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's an excursion tomorrow out to the town.
Yeah, and that's probably going to have to be our last one because we probably
Yes.
want the heart done before that message hits.
Ideally, yes.
So tomorrow night / really, really early the following morning, I think, is probably our best bet.
Yep.
Yeah. As far as town goes, I know we need to speak to Jenna. If possible, I was hoping to. I think I was hoping to thinking Lenark. I'm thinking about laying hands on even just a simple crossbow, just in case.
Well, he might have something, so we can
Yeah.
we can always look in. It's not a
Yeah.
problem.
It's just when there's
but-
wood involved and there's metal involved, I'm never sure if it's Jenna or Lenark or what.
the predominance of the frame, the way I figure it is, the predominance of the frame is going to be Lenark, so most of it's going to be Lenark. He probably gets his metal bits from Jenna. But when it's mostly wood.
Okay.
Lennar could be the one to go to. I have to visit him as well.
Oh. Well, and we
For
also have to
similar
tell him-
reasons.
Me too.
and we need to tell him that we spoke to July, or did we?
We did.
We did.
Yeah,
We did tell him?
Hazel did.
Ah.
And that went okay, I take it, Hazel?
Yeah, Jaloy gets the whole concept now, so we can sort of let him know and start that ball rolling.
But for now, it's been a very, very busy day. And hey, Hazel, gestures at Barnabas, you got another birthday present. A whole new friend.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry. I wasn't treating you like an object. It's just for Hazel, new friend is one of the best things.
It is the highest order of amazing.
Not quite. The new friend, second highest order of amazing, points to clarity. Highest order of amazing, as far as I could tell from you.
Mm-hmm. Far more accurate, yes.
Anyway, it has been a long day. Out of character, it's been like 3 sessions worth of day.
That's like a month and a half.
So, can we like crash?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then, now, good.
Hazel can fetch us for breakfast, and very quickly, because I do realize we're at about the breaking hour. When Barnabas goes down the corridor, he does see a door wide enough to fit him comfortably, a little wooden plaque on it, with Barnabas burned into it in pretty, wood burning bits and pieces. Opens the door.
Wow.
Good size bed. Puffy quilt. Big puffy chair. End table.
Nice.
Candle lantern. And a small sign by the windowsill saying, I owe you 1 bookcase.
Well, he's absolutely delighted because it's way better accommodations than the mercenary company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you had bedroll and cot if you were lucky.
Mm-hmm. Bedroll. They didn't have cots sturdy enough.
Sorry, but your mercenary company had a couple of Goliaths and at least one dragonborn of not metallic, so I call bullshit. Goliaths are like 8 feet.
They're bigger than Minotaurs.
And they hogged all the cots.
But that did mean that there were probably a couple of extras in case they broke one.
well, they never told me where they were, and I didn't really want to get,
That's fair. Him not asking for one is one thing. Don't say there weren't any. I didn't want to trouble anyone sounds like a very Barnabas thing to do.
It was one of those, like, let's not draw attention that, yeah.
Anyway, we'll see you in about 5 minutes for...
Yes, I need food.
Yes.
Cool.
And we're back. The Cupcake Coterie, with its new beefy member, have actually had some common frickin' sense and discussed various plans and the like, and gone to bed after burning some hazel energy and discussing plans for the following day. Hazel, being the one who actually sleeps in the main house, wakes up to the smell of waffles.
There's waffles. There's waffles, and I'm scrambling out and just fucking beelining to Fort Cupcake.
Still in your night clothes, because you did not mention that you got dressed.
Yes, I didn't. Yeah, just pulled on a set of boots and boom.
So, who are you waking up first? Because, I mean...
Clarity.
What's your... she's not being stealthy, but, yeah. So basically, you wake up, with your door flying open, and...
Blah!
There are waffles!
Oh! Waffles?
Praise waffles!
Okay.
Main house. They're delicious. You need to have some. Come on, up.
Okay.
Zoomed in and I'm trying to get
The reason none of you are hearing any of this is because the rooms are suspiciously well soundproofed for simple earthen walls. Because they were made by an abjuration wizard.
Can I get regular clothes on first, or is it urgent for waffles?
Yeah, because, I mean, there's Hazel in nightgown and snow boots.
Sure, get dressed. I'm gonna get everybody else.
Process probably already in the main room, like sipping tea.
Yeah, so you just saw Hazel buzz past in nightgown and snow boots.
Ava next.
Oh god.
Okay, so Ava is woken up by BAM!
There are waffles! Get dressed! Waffles time! Up! Back in and trying to pull her out of bed now, too.
Something.
And back
Darwin's room.
And yeah, bam!
Check real quick to see whether or not I managed to stay in the bed when Hazel.
That would be a dex save then.
Next save then? Okay. Thank you. Nope! Wham! And I just go onto the floor.
Does Darwin wear anything to bed?
Very little. You're learning whole new things about Darwin. Real or the pattern rather.
I'm gonna let everybody else. You get dressed.
Who next? I mean, first is already up, so your choices are Remy and Alice or Barnabas.
I mean, Alice, though, I'm going to new him up and just knock a lot.
Hazel's not entirely stupid.
Scared of Alice.
I'm probably equally scared of Remy. Come on. Alice sort of looks over at Remy and just goes, "Do you want to yell at her or should I?"
Remy grunts and does not try to untangle herself just yet.
At which point, okay, we hear you. Give us 5 minutes.
Stop knocking. Continued. Barnabas in space.
Knocking
what?
or
Shaving a haircut. 2 bits.
Yeah, you get. I mean, you're a merc. You wake up to like smallish noises, so you hear bam 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 on your door.
Barnabas is up instantly, sword in hand. What? Who? Where?
You pop open the door, lean in.
And he's got a
There are
sword in
waffles.
his hand.
There are waffles. There is no thing to. I mean, that would be one hell of a way to eat waffles, but you know.
All right.
Get
He's
dressed.
sort of-
There is to be waffles.
Oh, that's kind of grumbling. That's what he exactly does.
I'm just gonna back out into the main space. Hey, Froseth.
I imagine it's like one of those cartoons where like it's a hallway and there's just doors on either side and you just see like them go through.
I'll
Straight man sitting in the middle.
I'll say really is just sort of with Remy. Come on, unless you want her to knock again.
I recheck everyone. This time not actually like impacting any doors or anything. Just look to any doors that are left open, and back into the overall main space.
Mine is not.
I'm gonna get my waffles now. And back out the door.
It sounds like there's waffles.
Evidently.
Yeah, because that's. I mean, usually her reaction like that is reserved for pancakes. So these must be some pretty significant waffles.
No, I mean, did she just burst in and knock? And
She burst in on Ava, Clarity,
Yeah, I know
Darwin.
I was thinking Alice, but
No, she did not barge in on Alice and Remy. She's not stupid.
that's Ava asking Alice if she'd.
Oh no, and yeah, again, it's like no, she's not stupid.
Well, I'm gonna kill her one of these days.
No, you won't. You may put an arrow in her. Never mind.
God, she needs me a heart attack.
And yeah, with Ava doing the grumbling, Barnabas sees following her out of the room. There's this little living plush dog.
Hey, Butterscotch. What's up?
Just poor Barnabas.
She's just jumping around being all.
Yeah, boing around Ava. Boing, 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 boing.
Oh, that's right. I didn't show you Butterscotch. Taking him up.
A little paddling paws.
Oh,
Well, that's adorable.
You've attracted the rest. The other cuteness proximity person.
Yes, and happy. Basically, what you have is a plush Toller retriever puppy.
Clarity was like really groggy and
All of a sudden, having
just like woo.
Yeah, cuteness proximity happened.
Works better than coffee.
you just see that when the patting starts, the flailing paw stop, but the tail is just.
Waggy, waggy, wag, wag.
A helicopter.
All right.
Come on, apparently there's waffles.
Yeah, I'm not sure what gave me the idea that there might be waffles. Some maniacal, mystical being just appeared and said there were, and mentioned waffles. So
Don't make me stick a snowball down your back. You know I'll do it.
oh come on, you have to admit that is an accurate description.
Yeah, but sticking a snowball down your back would be fun. You'd wiggle interestingly.
You're not wrong.
And it just trots off in the general direction of the house where waffles do await. Barnabas.
Have you ever had waffles?
Once or twice. They're a bit fiddly for. It's weird. They're a bit fiddly for every day, and yet a bit too common for royalty breakfast or nobility breakfast, more to the point. But you actually, the most recent time you had waffles was when Alice A treated y'all to waffle marshmallow kebabs.
Oh, right. Yes.
So yeah, Barnabas has probably never had waffles. So yeah, when he turns up, he winds up with this, basically this whole stack of waffles about the size of my head, with a big pile of bacon. The expression on his face.
I see what you mean about the facial journeys now.
Isn't it so much better when there's so much more face?
Infinitely.
You just have Miranda looking over at Barnabas. They're teasing because they care. Eat your waffles, dear. I think he may have frozen.
Yeah.
That quite possibly could have happened.
So we're just going to say Barnabas is eating his waffles and going on food journey. Yeah, I don't think Clarity was there for the waffle marshmallow kebabs, so
No.
waffles are probably a fairly new experience as far as she's concerned. So yeah, you have waffles and the usual array of syrups that happen with pancakes, and bacon, and Noop coming to settle on her lap.
Hi, New. Do you want some bacon?
Rustiest purr. Apparently mostly wants pets, but bacon is also good. Bacon is also good.
Bacon's always good.
Hey, noob.
Little
I'm going to-
moggy blip.
You're getting all the scritches later.
Gives a look like I'm getting all the scritches now.
You're getting all the scritches for eternity.
Whilst we're eating. Next time, knock.
I did knock.
You did not. You threw open my door. You gave me a heart attack.
Also, Smeagol, you probably want a tissue. You've been picking at that again.
It.
No, other side.
It oh crap! Yeah, it. When I did the eyebrow raise, that cracked it open, and it's
Yeah, but
doing that again.
you still might want to get a tissue because you
I'll
don't
go
want it.
take care of that right now.
I'm just gonna poke at Brian here.
Oop.
Hopefully he actually sees that. But yes, meantime, Tully's going, I think I've nearly cracked it. Do I have the rest of the day for this?
I think so. I think you were saying tomorrow morning earlier, at the latest. No?
Well,
It is tomorrow morning, isn't it?
No,
No,
but
no,
the morning after.
yeah.
Ah.
She was actually taking into account from now rather than from when we first said it. Eat your bacon.
Sorry.
You have Miranda nudging some of the wake-up tea at him. Clearly, your brain needs to get back into gear, dear.
It does, yes, thank you.
The problem is going to be that there's going to be no way of testing this.
Well, we'll have to test it in the moment, I suppose.
I mean, I'm barely sure it's going to work, but
It's good enough for me.
If anyone can do it, you can.
well, it's also going to be a matter of which one of you actually winds up
think you said-
doing the reading of it.
I think you said Darwin, didn't you?
No, actually, you said Alice.
Oh, did you?
Her charisma score is higher, and she could actually take getting close
Right.
enough. Particularly if she had Remy, like, with a shield backing her up. Well, you know, we've got plenty of backups anyway, because if for some reason I can't, we can get Clarity to sneak up and do it.
Yep.
Because her, out of character, her int is on the same level as Alice's charisma, so... And that would be her spellcasting stat. So... Well, whichever one of you does it, as I say, I do not have the means to test this at the moment. At this point, it's either it will work or it won't. Just because having to bend the spell the way that I have, it wasn't really meant to do that exactly.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we have various plan Bs. That's why I had Jenna make me some really sturdy chain. I mean, both would be good, but if we have to, we can at least keep it on the ground. So, what else are you all up to today?
We have to swing into town for a couple things. I think Jenna and Lanark were on the list.
I want to pop in and see if that Edwina lady's niece is setting up.
Right.
She could probably use a little bit of support. I mean, given how empty town was to start with. And, you know, I'm sure the kids wouldn't mind some treats if she's actually in business, you know?
Mhm.
Travel snacks. If nothing else.
Oh, speaking of kids, are they around the...
They're around the table.
Darwin's occasionally checking pockets for random squidgy bears. Just in case.
Barnabas got the last of the random squidgy bears because you know it's been a while, so.
Just sort of quietly adding a few prayers to the food.
Yeah, one thing that we kind of meant to ask. Where is Baron Langerhan? Oh, yes. And he was going to move back into the manor and sort of has, at least in part, to try to sort out what of that hoard that green left belonged to various of the townsfolk and what could be used to pay Jarl Fortinbras, as a for example. And
Hello?
hello. Ah, there you go.
Okay.
Hey.
No idea what that was.
Discord is sometimes a pain in the backside. Yes, basically we've had Barnabas having his first experience of waffles, and they were very good.
It's nigh on religious.
Yes, we've basically been having him having Hazel's "I can see through time" expression while scarfing down waffles.
Was that about Miss Journeys? Damn.
I mean, he's been in his manor by day, but of course, since we're not 100% sure which of the guard he can trust, he's been in one of the command tents in the mercenary camp in the evening. So if you want to catch him in a discussion kind of mood, you can probably do that during the day at the manor. He's still got bits and pieces to sort out. If nothing else, having some idea of what you all are intending to do. Because while we do have an army here, they're mostly protecting the people, particularly with unusual things happening in Cedar Grove and the Elven Wild. I have a feeling it's going to be largely you lot who assault Black Crown. So...
Boy.
But yes, probably all of you are going to be a little bit much for him to deal with while he's as busy as he is, so... glances around. Ah, I see you have named yourself a representative.
Just
Yeah, seemed, I guess, one of the more sensible sort.
Well, yes, and the more familiar sort, honestly. If it was to be anyone, in all fairness, it would probably be somewhere between yourself and Alice, and he doesn't know her particularly well. He was, as I recall it, not in the best of states when he was retrieved from his manor the first time, so...
Not really.
There'll have to be proper introductions and the like later on, but meantime...
I'm happy to go.
It just also keep an eye on them when they're doing the shopping and go after that, because as I recall, I mean, Froth's apparently been wonderful at keeping their funds in some semblance of order, but you do know they tend to get a tiny bit, some of them tend to get a tiny bit ridiculous in shops.
Yep. I seem to remember that. I'll be in charge.
And yes, breakfast continues, although you do have Alice kind of waving a hand in front of Barnabas's face, just going, Barnabas, you okay over there, dude?
It's so good. He snaps too. I'm sorry. This is quite the revelation of food. Thank you.
Welcome to Hearth Home.
And Twilly just looks quite proud. I understand you're probably going to be coming through for dinner as well. Have you any particular favorites?
I'm not picky, ma'am. I'm not picky.
That wasn't a question.
Thank you.
I know.
Yes, exactly.
You don't want an answer.
You do have
Or
to
at the
tell
very
us.
least, ponder it.
Yeah, let me consider. I don't know if I've ever actually thought about what's my favorite food.
In which case, I have a wonderful idea, and you'll be surprised when you get in for dinner.
All right, then.
Tully has that egg ref. I am going to make things gleam in her eye.
Question: have I seen this gleam before?
You have actually. When you were quite young, part of the reason that you were happier to. Basically, when you were little and not used to all the space and all the people, and you were kind of hiding, and Twilly was sort of putting plates down near to your hiding spot and telling you, I'm interested to find out what your favorite types of foods are. And when you said you didn't know, she had that look on her face, and she did just look so happy that you felt better about the whole thing. Which is why that manic gleam just says happy to Hazel.
I'm just going to look at Barnabas, and the gleam comes up on my face.
Oh boy.
Don't worry, I'll take care of everything.
Yes.
It's family. It's gonna be great.
I guess so.
Just
Today is going to be awesome.
Just try not to think about it too hard, Barnabas. It's all right. Aggressively welcoming, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Glory to breakfast.
You do kind of have Faraday going, is this adult only field trip?
I think that's probably best.
Yeah. Turning, looking in First general direction. Yeah.
Your call.
I mean,
I mean, we don't have anything planned that would be dangerous, but we got jumped yesterday. So,
yeah, that's where I was thinking that's on that same line too. It's like, yeah, we're just going shopping and trying to puzzle out our equipment. But at the same time, we got attacked before. Out of literal nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. There's darkness involved too. It was really weird. Anyway.
Not that we wouldn't love to bring you with us, but
I'm never gonna get to see town at this rate.
Well, you will. You'll get to see it.
I mean, like, she'd be with us? I don't know.
It's First's call.
I mean, look at that face. I imagine
What do you think I'm saying? It's First's call? Because I know what I'd have to say to that face. And
Pretty much.
She's got the big puppy eyes.
Which point you have you have Miranda going, Hazel. And points to her necklace, which is around about the same point where Hazel wears her key. If there's any particular trouble, couldn't you just shove her through a door?
That's actually a good point.
Thank you. Yeah. And yeah, first it's still down to your decision, but there is this.
If in that case, I would be more than happy to have you along.
Jumps out of chair, bottles over to first, and then boom, hug.
No.
Hugs.
This is going to be a day, and the awesome just increased.
Oscar is like, oh, right, hang on, and puddles back to the boys' room, comes back with a sort of a cheesecloth sack that goes kind of lightly clank, and hands it to Barnabas.
Thank you. He takes the sack and sees what's in it.
The little bits of filigree for your horns.
Oh. Well, thank you. This is wonderful. I'm gonna be all fancy.
They're good and solid. So if there's fighting, they shouldn't break or dent or anything.
Would you care to help me put them on?
Yes, please.
All right then.
I might have to find a different table to stand on because there's waffles all over this, and I don't want to stand on the waffles.
Actually, Barnabas kneels on the floor and and I think maybe if he stands in his chair, that might work.
Yeah, well, benches. There's benches because there's that many kids.
Sure.
You've got to kind of. So it just clicks them on, and yeah, you'll have seen on the art where they where the filigree is. It looks at Clarity. I'd have made some for you too, but you need to be sneaky.
Yep, I've tried them before. They're a little bit clunky. But
Sure.
thank you for the thought.
Santa's like, I bet we could do ribbons.
That's a good idea.
I could do ribbons.
Sort of the Hazel's view direction just sort of turns towards Clarity and goes
But I was thinking
middle
like,
distance.
but I was thinking like a shade of blue, a few shades darker than your hair, with like little flower patterns in black so they don't catch the light so much, and you can still see them when they're. I'll see what I can do when I'm at the place. I'll see what I can do about the embroidery.
Oh, embroidery. That sounds very pretty.
Little flowers, so that when it wraps around, you can see the flowers. Except they'd have to be a darker color, so that when you're in shadow, none of it it doesn't catch light or give you away. But when you're in the light, you can see the light picking out the flower embroidery.
I would love that. Thank you.
And turns around. If Faraday, if you're going to going to the woolen shop, can you see if there's any embroidery thread of the right color? I'll see what I can find.
We'll make sure to add that to the list of places that we go.
Through Hazel's viewpoint right now, around Clarity is stereotypical Bishi sparkles, and she's sort of seeing the idea of what the ribbons would look like. So you see her face sort of starting to color a little, and just sort of that middle distance I can see through time stare.
Absolutely.
And it just turns around. You never get to give me that look ever again, Darvin, because she's about 10 times worse.
I'm gonna try and find Dawn before we head out.
Oh, she's by the time you're looking for her, she's helping bring breakfast dishes in for the washing. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Pretty good. Everything's kind of weird.
It is. Hopefully it'll be better soon. We're working on it.
And we're hoping that you're gonna be okay. And
do our
you're
best.
going to kick some scaly butt cheek.
That's the plan. So I pull out the little training bow. So I don't know if you have any interest in archery, but I got this for you, and I could show you a few moves at some point if you'd like, or if not, that's fine as well. You can just keep it and know that I'm thinking of you.
Well, I don't want to take up your time because I know you're busy being an adventurer, but maybe when you've done the thing, the recent, the close-up coming thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you have some time to recuperate, and maybe spending time with me will be recuperating.
It will.
But for now, I will hang it above my bed. Hug.
No. Ruffle hair a little bit.
I gotta go help get the rest of the dishes. So, yeah, is everybody ready for a trip into town?
I think so.
Did looks at Hazel. Hey, Hazel.
Mm.
Clothes.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Up. Boom.
Clarity's ducking her head and starting shoveling more waffles.
Because he finally broke the stare.
Yeah. It's just because it's like, well, I mean, it would have been kind of funny to let her go into town in her nightgown.
Mm-mm.
I'm not that mean.
Not in this weather.
Yeah. That's if you run into something, she needs her armor.
Exactly. That too.
Oh God, Ree's gonna clank.
Yep.
These are the days when I'm glad I don't. My armor is fuck you. Very quietly, so it's only you guys are hearing this.
Yeah. Tarvin looks around like, is that quite enough? Okay, yeah, that was quite enough. Okay, good.
Cover Noop's ears.
Noop gives you this look, which is like, if you don't think that I have heard so much worse.
Scritch.
I'll probably wander, assuming Evan's somewhere to be found.
Not exactly, but if as you're looking around trying to find a hiding Evan, you do see a newt.
Oh, no. I'll lean down to the newt and go, if you stop and leave Juloy's things alone, I'll bring you back squidgy bears. And I'm just looking at the newt.
The newt is just kind of blinking at you like, I have no idea how to respond to that in my current shape.
Can you nod? If you understand me? Okay, perfect. It'll wear off. You'll be fine. I love you.
He clambers onto his boot and just sort of headbutts his shin as best he can.
Aw.
Does this sort of newt face scrunch.
Yeah.
The gnome is a newt.
Alice is
no.
looking at this and going, maybe we can get him up off the floor.
Yeah, let's.
What
Put him up
do
on
we? Looks at Twilly and Miranda. What do we do with a newt? Oh.
Hurry.
Well, put him in one of the chairs.
Yeah.
When he turns back into a gnome, it won't cause any damage, and no one will step on him that way.
Yeah, exactly my thought.
Blink,
You just-
blink.
Yeah, so I'll very carefully, put my hand down and come on.
And
Bring
yeah,
him over to a chair.
Jaloy from the rafters. If he does it again, he's gonna be a squirrel.
Squidgy bears and acorns. Noted.
Barnabas is watching Darvin have this conversation with a newt.
Yeah, and Jaloy, who in a language he also doesn't understand.
It's just gonna.
One of the kids.
Yeah.
Just joking.
Well, he's met Evan.
He's making way to the. Yeah.
Pixie.
Sorry. The pixie things, and she doesn't like it, so she turns them into an animal every now and again.
Squirrel!
Learned.
Hey Hazel, you dressed yet?
Gonna stumble back out, full kit on, finally.
Let's go shopping before we have to explain more of Hearthhome to Barnabas.
Yeah.
Good idea!
And so Twilly's like, yes, because I have final touches to put on your scroll, and then I have plans.
I am the gleam is near identical on my face when I hear that.
I'm just not going to ask. It's better that way. Love you all.
Yes, walk to Goldendale town is 4 or 5 miles, so it takes a couple of hours, but, you know, you're all adventurers, you're hardy sorts, and, I still haven't removed the various tags from the last time. But again, it's been a little while since you've been in town, at least in terms of how. Yeah, so effectively, one of the first buildings that you see is what appears to be some sort of shrine building. There's a rather unfortunately well occupied graveyard. And sort of across from it, this building here isn't. That building there is a blackened foundation and a couple of badly scorched support beams. Are you guys, like, explaining town to Barnabas? Because Barnabas hasn't been this far in.
So that used to be the Golden Bow. That was a great tavern. And then the jerks who came through here kind of wrecked it.
It will be again.
This place will look a lot better when it's all fixed up, and we've removed the key problem currently sitting on this continent.
Yeah. As well as the others. But yes.
Whichever order it goes in, we're clearing the. Once we clear all the issues out of the area, we'll hopefully be able to rebuild it all.
We will rebuild.
Okay, I think Jenna's first.
Yes.
Okay, so the other side from the shrine, off to the, well, what would be the east on this map. There's a little country blacksmith shop. There is smoke coming from the chimney, so clearly somebody's in.
Gonna politely knock.
Door opens, and standing in the doorway, rather large woman. For physique, think Wonder Woman as she should be drawn. You know, Amazon built. Rather short, gray hair, and one of her arms is think Winter Soldier.
Ah, okay.
And I mean, you haven't seen workmanship this good, even from the Izzet League. Because this thing looks like, you know, it's fully articulated, it's just metal. And she just sort of goes, so someone remembered about his breastplate.
I'm just going to get out of the way and gesture to the rest.
My apologies. Caught up in...
Get in here, it's cold out there. You're letting all the heat out.
Quickly steps in and motions to... And specifically Barnabas first.
And Jenna's watching him. Ah, fellow Merc. How'd you do?
You- Well, yourself?
Well, not too bad. I didn't really reckon that I'd have this much business of this type when I retired here, but now here I am, working the forge for adventures.
Well,
Now, before we deal with the bits what already been done, and yes, Lyra made mention of you. You would be Barnabas. You're not from around here. Fair enough.
yeah, that's an understatement, but yes.
I go by Jenna these days. Full disclosure, Goldendale Bree, Steel Singer Equitas.
Full disclosure, back Barnabas Stumblefink, formerly of 10th Precinct in Ravnica. Don't ask.
Oh, well, that's just not you. Anyhow, before we go working on the bits from the folk I already know, I understand that you wanted an axe and a sword.
If there's anything available, apparently we're going to be fighting Green Dragon, and standard equipment really just isn't going to work. Well, at least.
You're sort of glancing surprisingly at Darvin and going, you did explain to him that I already know all this.
My apologies, I did not know.
So you didn't explain to him proper.
Out of character, I thought we did.
Not to the extent of Jenna being well apprised.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just all I knew is she does forging. That's it.
Well,
Barnabas has been meeting a lot of people and getting a lot of things explained over the last day.
it's fine, but Crestwind, you do know that when I did your new sword, you still have the old one.
Yes, that is true.
Couldn't you just give him the old one?
Suppose we could. She draws the sword, holds out the hilt to Barnabas. Give that a feel.
He grabs
At
grabs it.
first it isn't, but it does shift in his hand.
That's new.
It's a magic blade. They do that.
Fair point.
Just in most cases, they don't do it quite so fast. Some of the rest of you can attest to that, Froseth. And your new sword did that.
Yeah.
Insofar as the axe goes, what sort of thing are you looking at?
Out of character, I have no idea what I should be looking at.
You could ask the rest of them.
Any idea what would be really useful for this sort of thing? He goes to everyone else.
Ah, you're going Dalek. You're going Dalek, Ava.
Yeah, you might want to check either your connection or your sound, because one of those is yelled exterminate a lot.
Well, it's not like we're short on Radiant, and he already has a weapon that's doing that, so probably not a necessary thing. He does a trick that I don't think happens here. He kind of does a teleporty, now you see me, now I'm over here kind of thing. So anything that's gonna be useful for someone with that amount of mobility. And you've got more than enough cold damage. And that means that something thrown isn't probably going to be as useful as it could be. I think I've got an idea for one such as yourself. Hold on a moment.
Okay.
It goes into the back room, and there's that sound of rattle, rattle, clang, rattle, rattle, clunk, rattle, rattle, boom.
That's don't worry about that. That's the armory being opened.
All the best armories sound like that. Occasionally, there's more of a deep humming noise, but that depends on who you're dealing with.
Yeah, I'm actually
Just the
kind.
look of Omai.
I'm actually amazed you didn't spend more time in Egref. If all the best armories hum, then anyway. And from somewhere in amongst the clattering, aha! It turns up with the axe head isn't large, but it's surprisingly ornate. There's gold geometric designs on both the handle and the head. This one, gotta be careful how you use it. And I generally only give it to a smart sort of individual. Are you a smart sort of individual?
I try to be.
Well, you see, what this one is, once a day, you can call on the power of those designs, and the damage that was done to you, the other one feels as well. The one who did it to you feels as well.
Oh my.
But only once per day.
Oh, the things you can do with that.
Well, yeah. Why'd you think I made it? I know the things you could do with it. I've used it a time or two.
That sounds outstanding. Thank you. What would I owe for this sort of thing?
It's alright. I did charge you some. Most of you. A little bit. For that one, I'm gonna... Given that spared having to try and find your sword as well, I'm gonna call it 5 gold. And
Maybe
Alice nudges him. Remember what I told you?
That's more than fair. He just pulls it right out. Just
And then Alice nudges again. Remember what else I told you? Nods in Hazel's general direction.
he sort of holds it up like, Madam, your forge work is impeccable.
And looks at Darvin, Alice, and Hazel and goes, "It was a good try. It'll do." Let me explain something to you, lads. The reason that they're telling you to praise the forge is because I am a cleric of the forge. I know you're not from around here, so allow me to explain. The forge, as a concept from clerics, has no name, has no gender. It was believed that the world itself was forged at the forge. There are very few clerics that deal with that kind of thing. The ones that do, they're called steel singers. They make things that are quite literally unbelievable in some cases, as you've seen. All I ask is enough coin to live on, and a little bit of praise to the forge. Not for me, I do what the god bids me to do. I do what the forge allows.
Mm-hmm. I see. I see. Pardon my ignorance.
You're not from around here. It's alright. And again, glances over at Darvin, Alice, and Hazel. Thanks for trying. Speaking of, your breastplate. Rummage. Unfortunately, I couldn't manage poison damage resistance. I didn't have enough materials on hand, but I did manage something else. Acid damage.
Mm.
It's only resistance, but it's gonna have to do.
Can still be helpful.
Well, you're going after a black dragon at some stage. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be helpful. And you looks over at Alice and in the metal arm picks up this fairly extensive chunk of heavy chain. Hands it to her. Thank you. Probably gonna need to keep this in a bag of holding because I can carry it, but it's gonna be awkward. Which one?
Well, I mean, both of you can get places quick. So, I would probably say, well, if you're Broseth, you both would probably be like right up next to each other, right? Well, actually, Hazel, you get up close too sometimes.
Well, given that she was talking about talking to Lenark, I have a feeling that she's trying to get a bit more potential
I'm
for
middle
range.
of the road. I can be wherever I need to be, but the person who's always in the front is Froseth, so him most likely.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Is that okay, Frozen?
I guess.
I mean, it's not like you're gonna feel the extra weight anyway.
Yeah.
That just sort of dumps the chain. Yeah, one thing that is pretty much universal is bags of holding are the most useful things in existence, and they have 2 of them.
Yeah.
No, he seems to be
No,
moving.
He's still moving. He's just
No reaction.
Sorry.
That's okay. Was there anything else y'all needed?
Did you happen to find any other daggers?
Well, I was a little bit busy forging an awful lot of chain. Let me have a quick look and see what I might have kicking about. Goes back into the back, shooting over her shoulder. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
So I know the crossbow would be Lenark, but the ammo... No, I guess the ammo would also be Lenark, because you'd want to keep it with the crossbows, right? So, well, I'll ask him.
I have extra.
Yeah,
Oh.
don't forget she has a crossbow as well. I expect she can share her.
Well, no, actually, didn't you give that to Rizwin?
Oh yeah, I did give Rizwin pretty much all my ammo. I was like, well, okay, fair enough. That is now Rizwin's, so
You're right.
anyone wanted to make that decision, that'd be on her.
Well, I mean, I'll still ask. Actually,
Wait, Jenna's in the back looking at stuff. We're just waiting for her to come back. Wait, man.
well, oh, okay. I was just gonna, because that way she wouldn't have to keep going back and forth, but, oh, okay.
Boats are usually.
If she's back there, and
Well,
Mhm.
since, but we're here, I mean, worst thing is she says they're not here. Lenark would have those, I mean, at least then I would know.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and we'll ask. Just let her sort out everything first. I don't
Right.
want to interrupt.
Yeah, no, fair point.
Does anyone else have anything they need from Jen? I don't think so.
This is our last. We're also not exactly gonna have much in the way of time
Yeah.
afterwards, because just
but we gotta go.
Is there anywhere you want? Is there anywhere you wanted to see in the town, Barnabas? Because because we're after Lenark's.
Well, we
We're
gotta go
heading
to
To get
Yeah.
the thread
the thread, the embroidery thread.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
And-
like,
and-
there's
and-
other places.
And Faraday, who's been quietly listening through all of this, is just going. Also, the sweeties. I collected bits of pocket money from just about everybody. You know, if there are sweeties available.
Yeah.
I'm going to crouch down and basically offer her a fist bump. Nice.
If I asked Jenna lady really nicely, do you think she would let me look in the back room?
Possibly yes.
Possibly?
You're welcome to ask.
Yeah, sure. Feel free to ask. No, she'll like that, but we'll see, I guess.
Jenna is awesome. There's a reason when I manifest a spiritual weapon, it's her fist.
It just gets giggle. Little dragonborn giggle. It's adorable. And Jenna comes back out and sort of goes, "You've already got some of my best bits of kit, but I do have one thing." And she holds out the blade of this particular knife is glassy looking and red. The hilt's black. Alright, this one's a little tricky. There's a chance, about 25% chance, say, that a piece of this is gonna break off in your target and do continuous damage without you actually being there to stab them. Don't worry, the blade the tip regrows about midnight. If that does happen. I'll give you all I'll plunk it in and give you all the specific stats. But yeah, I have to admit, daggers were never exactly my favorites, because frankly, I got asked to do some fairly unpleasant bits and pieces, and well, most of them were assassin types. Part of why I left. Oh, incidentally, speaking of things what I did that weren't quite so unpleasant, rummages through a belt pack and pulls out what I guess even you guys would know is as a scalpel, and hands it to Hazel. This isn't so much for using, although fact is that if you cut someone with it, say if you have to cut something like, say, the tip of her dagger out of someone, you can't kill them with it. Any wound you commit with you commit with that thing ain't gonna kill someone. Also, even if you just have it on you, general aura of it is gonna help your base medical skills, and I know you got some.
I'm gonna move the medical pack around, pull it open, find an appropriate spot for this, and it goes in.
There's spots for that kind of scalpel, and yeah, I'll give you the stats for that as well. But basically, that's gonna give you advantage on medical checks.
Oh, nice.
Jenna, a couple things. One, crossbow bolts. Would Lenark have those? Because I'm assuming he would have the crossbow itself, or would that be something that you have? I'm not sure.
You've finished asking the question now?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
I provide the tips. He does the fletching and the shaping. So if you want anything special ordered, I don't think we're going to be able to do that before you head for your next adventure. But He probably should have some basics, but I have a feeling that this one's got, points at Hazel's got something of a surplus anyhow.
Brisbane's
You
got
did-
that surplus.
Oh, you gave? I knew you gave her the crossbow. I didn't realize you'd given her all the bolts. Well,
I gave her at least half the bolts, I think.
well, you do still, in which case, have some surplus.
Yeah, so there should be enough to provide. So I got some on hand. Not as many as I did, because I gave Riswin quite a bit, but
Okay.
enough.
And the other, and I kind of motion Faraday up.
I know that you probably got trade secrets and clerical secrets and that kind of thing, but I just wanted to know if I could very quickly be shown around your back room. Not to see anything that you don't want me to see, but there were some very interesting noises that were happening in there, and I'm just really curious. Please. Looks at first at... Lyra told me about this. I wasn't entirely sure whether or not to think she was exaggerating. She was understating the case, wasn't she?
Good chance.
This is Faraday.
Pleasure to
Faraday,
meet you, young lady.
Faraday, Jenna, Faraday.
Looks at Faraday, looks at... I have a feeling you're slightly mispronouncing a name. Faraday, yes?
Sorry,
She's
I'm
very
still working on that.
It's okay, you've probably got the wrong kind of mouth. You're very polite and kinder than I'd have been, because I can manage to make that sound well enough.
Which Darwin was actually thinking, but was not going to say anything.
Jenna gives 0 shits. You can tell this. Well, if this lot don't mind waiting for you for a few minutes, I can give you a quick tour around, I suppose. Thank
Always.
You very much.
Can I see too? I won't take notes if you don't want me to.
She's her and magic.
You are adorable. Oh my god, I didn't think it was possible, but I'm fairly certain I love you even more now.
You do realize I'm not going to be explaining how anything works.
That's alright.
And I'm not going to be able to show you how any of it actually happens.
It's okay. I'm curious.
I'm assuming you're doing that in character. I love you.
Can we assume that if she's doing that, she's doing it in character? Can we shut up and let her have her moment? Thank you. I do not make a policy of this. Alright.
Yay.
But you lot better not ask me for any bloody thing else for at least 2 weeks. Come on! Yeah, honestly, the most interesting bits and pieces that you guys see in the back room, which is, I mean, there's a couple of workbenches that you don't really know how they work, and Faraday's most of her questions are about the actual mundane smithing, which do get answers. But she just can't explain how she imbues things. But the most interesting bits are the bits and pieces that she's chucking back into her trunk. A couple of swords, fairly large-looking hammer, a pair of weird-ass gauntlets, that kind of thing. Well, no, she's not explaining any of them.
Clarity is not asking any questions and is just sort of sitting back and letting Faraday just do her thing.
Faraday is asking questions, but you can see her looking. And make me an insight check.
Okay. Where is my character sheet? Insight. 9.
Yeah, no, you don't know what she's thinking, but you can definitely you know Hazel's the wheels are turning, expression, but this one's more on your intellectual level.
The great turbine that is her brain.
Winds up looking at a helm for a moment after she's finished her basic explanations. Looks at it, looks at Clarity, looks back at the door. I think I've explained about what I'm gonna, but given I've already had some guests in here, you mind sending Crestwind in?
Sure. No problem.
Thank you very much, Miss Jenna.
Thank you, Jenna.
You're welcome. Off you go. You guys go.
Remy, she's got a thing for you or would like to see you.
Remy blinks and heads that away.
Shuts the door. And steps back into the farthest corner from it because she knows where the sound carries, and she wants to make sure she's not 100% heard while this is happening. So I'm not generally one to pry in folks' affairs in any sense of the word, but it doesn't take a genius to notice that one of your number is right up in the thick of things, is rather keen on keeping anyone from getting hit, and probably takes more than a share of damage.
Yes, she does.
How'd you like to even that up a little bit?
Now he just looks about at whatever.
What she's holding is a it's a very plain iron helm. Kind of matches the iron trim on your current armor, but beyond that, it's entirely plain. This is something I designed for an individual who had a similar sort of problem. This one, you see someone within about 50 feet of you taking damage. Once per day, you can take it instead.
That is a very useful enchantment, or whatever you would call it.
It'll do. I just have hands her over. I figure you want as many of you to stay living as
That's
possible.
the ideal, yes.
I won't talk about the rest of it. I've been there. It's alright.
Thank you.
Right. That's it. Off you go.
You know, nods very respectfully and then trumps back out, the helmet under her arm.
Okay.
Smiles to Alice.
I'm rolling such an insight check on that one. I'm going to ask about that later. Because that smile is new. But I cannot read that smile, and that's something, so yeah, okay.
Remy just kisses her cheek, ready to move on.
At which point you do get Jenna going, out! Thank you again, Miss Jenna!
What do I owe you for the blade?
Out!
Okay. Where's the forge?
She gives like an awkward bow on her way out.
Alisay does give a bit of at her forge before heading out.
Hey, that's all those. Does the same.
Yeah, Alisay that just ruffles Ruby's hair a bit, then turns around to Barnabas and goes, "So yeah, welcome to Jenna's." And oh my god, we are at that fucking time
Oh no.
already.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll leave a note with just like send me via Discord what you want Clarity to pick up at Lenark's, and we can say that she wanted to catch him before before a lunch hour kind of thing started, and hopefully trust people to get your shopping done.
Sounds
And
good to me.
We'll catch up in 2 weeks' time with the rest of the shopping, and hopefully stretch that out long enough so that we don't have to come up with some magical way of getting Clarity to where we need to go. But for the time being, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
All right. See ya.
Bye.